Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Fatal Frame, Maiden of the Black Water, we have finished the tutorial, and we're about to head into the first real area. And our hero here is Yuri Kozukata. Before Yuri and then Kurosawa Hisoka, they went to an abandoned inn together for training for Yuri. Hisoka has since gone off, while Yuri stays back in the antique store, and a new character shows up. And typically, I think a scene like this would not be particularly interesting, just to, get the story going, but we can look at the architecture of this house, and also the things within it. But it is being used or run as an antiques shop. And I'm guessing most of this stuff is from the Taisho era of Japan, around 1920s, 1930s. This is kind of the time when Western culture was really kind of coming into Japan. And then there, the building on the other side of the street, that kind of round sort of fence-looking thing. I've read that those kind of things, they only exist in Kyoto. So this city might be, or this house, might be near or around Kyoto. But those are put there to keep dogs from pissing on the side of the building. That's what I've read. But just kind of like aesthetically pleasing, and then a characteristic of Kyoto architecture. Alright, but anyway, we are in this antique shop, and various knickknacks and goods from the Taisho era. And yeah, during that time, things like cameras or automobiles or movie theaters, they entered the country really and were accepted for the first time. But at that time, Japan was still very, they had very strong ties to their tradition. So there's a lot of mixing of like East and West at that time. And it's very interesting sort of overall aesthetic. Yeah, telephones too. So that girl in white, she came in kind of asking us like a detective to search for her missing friend. Kurosawa Hisoka, she's the actual detective. And the girl in white wanted her, but Hisoka is missing, so the girl in white's just going to go look by herself. Up on Mount... I forget the name of the... Hikami? Hikami? Yeah, but we can see a lot of mechanical clocks. And the breast animation physics are ridiculous. Not at all like real life, unless it's like body paint or something. So the chime rings, and then the pendulum swings, but the clock is broken. Okay. That is a western door on the front of the house. It's on hinges and swings in. Tobacco tray. The Japanese used to use like a metal pipe to smoke. And then when you were done smoking and you wanted to get the used ashes out, you would tap the pipe on something. That might be what that little ashtray thing there was for. Okay, so I think we've investigated this front room. Let's head to the back. Another western door here. And then here I wanted to talk about the walls. But like we have these pillars of the dark wood, and then the walls. Those are like earth or mud. Oh, let's look at this book here. Talking about the kind of the local beliefs about Mount Hikami. Okay, it's a famous suicide spot. It's interesting what or like how the Japanese consider like being with someone else or like togetherness as a society. But yeah, this is true in real life. If a place catches on as a place of like suicide, then people will kind of be drawn to there. Partly just to not be alone in their suicide. They do feel a connection to the other people that have died there. Yeah, I remember in the previous Fatal Frame games, opening doors also took a very long time, in addition to walking, to raise the tension. But yeah, these walls, they're kind of like earthen walls, but you start by weaving together like bamboo to create sort of like the skeleton of the wall, and then over it you layer on like a paste of like various things like ash or like linen and stuff. And then you keep layering until you get the thickness of the wall that you want. And then you paint over it a few coats of white paint or whatever. And then you end up with that. It's very Japanese. And you don't see a lot of houses like that with these kinds of walls anymore. But apparently they resist moisture and fire pretty well. But I get the impression that they're hard to keep clean. But this house overall is pretty clean looking. Yeah, you don't see them made like this anymore though. But Kyoto, that would be a great place to see that if you did want to see those kinds of walls. And yeah, even painted, they have this kind of a texture to them, which I think we can kind of see in the graphics here. And a lot of larger, older houses, they would have gardens in the middle like that. Alright, here is Kurosawa-san's room. I don't know what makes a mirror Japanese style. There's nothing of interest in here. There's plenty of interest. I love Japanese fabrics too. Those might be kimono fabrics. And then here we have a history of like the different cases that Kurosawa-san investigated. But there was one interesting kind of a cultural point when Yuri and then the girl in white were speaking in the first floor. When Yuri was speaking about Kurosawa-san to the person in white, she didn't say san, she just said Kurosawa. Usually it's rude to drop the san when you say somebody's name, but if you are like speaking from like a business point of view or like an organization, and then you are speaking about a person in your organization, it's like to like say yourself or someone of your organization should have that san on the end. It kind of sounds like you're sort of full of yourself. So in order to appear humble, or also to have your company or your associates also appear humble, when you speak to them to someone outside of the company or organization, then you don't use san in that case. And so the girl in white, being a client and not part of the organization, we don't use san talking about Kurosawa-san. Okay, here's another ashtray, tobacco tray. It is unknown whether Kurosawa-san smokes or not. She looks like she does. Fuyuhi, yeah, that's her name. Names like Fuyuhi and Hisoka are not very common in Japan these days. Haruka is pretty common though. Yuri is so-so common. It's the name of a flower, so it's not that strange. Okay, so that will be the end of the investigating the house. I was glad to show that, because in the previous Fatal Frame games that I've played, everything you look at is very run down. To look at something new, like in the light, is kind of a unique experience in these games. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.